everyone, welcome back to Simply Scented Life. I have a review for you guys today, taking a look at Kringle Candles Mint Cookies. This is one of the fragrances in their labeled 3-wick collection that came out recently. I do have a haul video with a lot of first impressions because I bought a large portion of that collection. I will link that in the description of this video. I've been burning this for a little bit and wanted to get a review out there though, and I am putting this in my Simply Reviewed series here because as you will see, we are a little bit less decorated and the scent is a little bit more straightforward, and I think any other scents that I review from that collection will also be in this Simply Reviewed series because most of them don't really warrant a huge long in-depth video like I normally do for some of the more involved and normal Kringle scents. This collection here in itself is kind of a one-off from Kringle. No, I don't think they're having an identity crisis or trying to compete with Goose Creek or Bath & Body Works in any way. I think this is simply a case of them using up materials that they no longer need from two discontinued collections, both the designer 3-wick collections and the country candle line. So thinking jars, wicks, dyes, fragrance oils, things of that nature that they no longer need. Because I think going forward, we are going to see a more streamlined Kringle aesthetic here with their white wax and more cohesive look to their overall product line from their brand. So no, don't worry. I don't think this is a new direction for Kringle. I simply think they are using things up. And no, I have not had that confirmed directly to me, but that's just kind of my gut feeling here based on everything I know with Kringle and just your sort of overall goal here with their brand. So with that said, I did want to get this review out there because I feel like this is one of those scents that's tripping some people up because it is not very well marketed in my opinion. You guys know I always give you my honest opinions about Kringle regardless. And I did buy this. They didn't send it to me. This is my own purchase. But either way, I always give you my honest thoughts. And this one I do know is tripping people up a little bit. And I tried to warn you guys, if you caught my first impressions, that because they've named this mint cookies, I think people are looking for a cookie scent, and that's just not what this is, at least not in my opinion. I'm going to give you Kringle's description here from their website and the scent notes, and we'll kind of talk about this a little bit more. They say mint cookies is a blend of cool mint and warm sugar, blends into a delicious holiday indulgence, essentially here. We have top notes of peppermint, we have mid notes of vanilla bean and fresh snow, and a base note of cedarwood. So for me, going into this, seeing fresh snow and cedarwood on the scent note list, I was not thinking that this was going to match up. I felt like this is probably going to be one of those things that really isn't what it seems, and that definitely was the case here. But you know what? You never know with Kringle because they have had a history of mislabeling candles in the past or having notes that don't match up to what you smell. So you just never really know. Either way, I like mint, so I was intrigued enough to buy it anyway. And I will say, for what it is, it's not a bad fragrance. Is it mint cookies? No, I don't get any sort of bakery element here. Nothing cookie about it to me. Certainly not the sort of thin mint style cookie that you see on the label there. That is not what I'm smelling here. There's no chocolate and no true, cookie bakery note. But there is some sweetness here. There is a, a sort of, I guess, vanilla creaminess to it. So there is some little bits of gourmand aspect here, but overall, I wouldn't consider this a gourmand fragrance as a whole. Now, the peppermint itself, I feel like was a little bit more pronounced on cold, but getting into this burn here, it does mellow out a little bit. I would describe this as a sweet peppermint. It's not herbal to my nose. It's not heavily mentholated. You get a hint of that little bit of menthol when you sniff it on cold, but in the burn here, it is definitely more subdued, and I'm not getting that same sort of nose-clearing peppermint like I have with other candles in the past. If you want nose clearing peppermint, get the Candy Cane Martini candle in the reserve line. But this is a little bit more subdued, especially as it blends here with our vanilla bean, giving it a little bit more creamy sweetness. The vanilla is not a heavy, rich like indulgent vanilla, in my opinion. So when they throw around the word holiday indulgence, you know, it implies something here, which I'm just not picking up personally. So it is there. It's just not quite as indulgent as you might expect. Just adding a little bit of creamy sweetness to it. Now, the fresh snow, I get a good deal of, and I feel like that is kind of neck and neck here in ratios with peppermint and snow, because there is definitely a freshness to this that makes this sort of unique. Because on one hand, you have that sweetness, but then you also have this fresh quality here with this snow note that's almost a little bit clean and a tad soapy at times to my nose, but there's a brightness to it. It does have a coolness to it. There's something here, I think it's kind of mingled in this snow note that comes off to my nose a little bit citrus-like, maybe more like a citron vibe, of, if you will, like a cool citrus note, somewhere in the lemon family. It's not heavy or you know, overwhelmingly citrus, but there's something about it that leans slightly lemon citrus to my nose, and I feel like it's kind of somewhere in that snow note itself. And then that cedarwood note, I will tell you guys, I felt like I got a little bit more cedarwood on my initial burn. And then as this candle has burned down, I feel like it has faded a little bit more to the background. And we're not talking a heavily wooded note here. It's just, again, it's something that sort of contrasts that sweet, creamy side now here with our snow and a little bit of that cedarwood coming in at the background that just gives it a slightly bit more outdoors feeling. So for me, I mean, I think I would have gone with a sort of snow day concept with this fragrance, because it does feel like it has a little bit of a playfulness to it with the peppermint and the sweetness, but you have that outside piece. I don't know. I would have gone something snow day, or maybe some sort of after sledding treat versus like an indulgent mint cookie. I really don't know where the cookie came from in this equation, but I'm not finding it personally. I mean, you could have gone like a snowman route or something too. I don't know. But like, it's not a bad fragrance. I just think it's poorly concept marketed here in this situation. In the overall picture here, I give it points for uniqueness, because this is definitely different than any of the other peppermint candles I have in my collection, especially holiday peppermints, with this sort of like mixture here we have of that sweetness and the creaminess of the peppermint and the vanilla mixed with that fresh sort of slightly outdoorsy quality of the snow and the cedarwood there. You know, again, kind of fresh and clean, almost playing with gourmand. It's a very interesting mix here. So I do give it points for uniqueness, and the performance has been good. I would say in terms of the strength intensity, this is probably in the 5-6 range for me. It's not overwhelming my space, but it's definitely present in the room that it's in. It's also not traveling very far. So if I burn this sort of in my kitchen area, that's pretty much where it stays, and it's pretty well present and pronounced in there. You could probably bump that up a little bit more if you were to use a hurricane, but I feel like the 3 wicks pretty much stand well on their own. They don't really need that necessarily, and you don't want to let it get too hot. But for me and my purposes here, I would say 6, probably a solid 6 for me overall. Some might find it to be a 5 if you have a more of an open space, but for me, I'll give it a 6, and I'm okay with that. It's pretty welcoming fragrance. I have this going in my entryway a lot, and it's done well there. It's not really an offensive fragrance, at least not in my opinion. So it is got something going for it here. You just have to kind of know what you're getting going in. And if you are looking for something that is more true gourmand peppermint, you do have a few options. If you're looking for something in this sort of 3-wick packaging for the 3 for $33 deal, the Candy Cane Mocha is definitely more gourmand. I do have that one here as well. I've burned it a little bit. It is a little bit sweeter. You do get a little bit of that sort of cocoa chocolate mocha tone to it. So if you are okay with that, that is definitely more of a gourmand peppermint. And If you are looking to kind of go outside of that, I feel like Candy Cane Lane is a great option. Candy Cane Lane came out in the Country line originally, and they just crossed that one over to the Kringle line. So it just kind of came on the website last week. That to me is a sort of peppermint meets a little bit of white chocolate. The scent notes online will say cocoa, but to my nose, it translates more as a peppermint and white chocolate scent, but definitely more in the gourmand lane. That is available in both the Kringle line right now, and it's also still available in the Country Candle packaging as well. Another option for you guys is Dreaming of Christmas, which was a limited edition country candle last winter. The last I checked, and the stock must be getting low at this point because it's been around for a while, but it was still available before filming here. Dreaming of Christmas is available in a large jar for 50% off right now. I think it's like $15.50 or something in that ballpark. But that is another sort of gourmand peppermint scent, but that one I will say is more heavy on the peppermint. You do get a bigger blast of like mentholated peppermint with that candy cane there. It is definitely heavier on the peppermint, but it does have a lighter background of what I consider to be either a dark or bittersweet sort of chocolate note, a little bit in the background there. So still to my nose, leaning more gourmand peppermint than this one here with mint cookies. So those are just some options if you're looking for something that is a little bit more truly gourmand. But overall, this fragrance, it's not bad, and it's burning well. I will give you guys a little bit of a look here. For 3 wicks, as 3 wicks go, these tend to burn better for me than any of the competitor brands. I have had no issues with the wicks whatsoever, and we are at the halfway point here. And I still have solid flames. They're not burning too hot and out of control. They're not jutting out. I have a nice pool, as you can see there. And it is staying clean. I will try to take a picture of this after I extinguish it and put it into the video here when I edit, so you can see the wax is staying clean. It is not getting murky and gooky as some of the other brands tend to do for me. So I have zero complaints about the burn. So if you're simply looking for a 3-wick candle that burns well, that you don't have to babysit, take a look at these 3 for $33 labeled 3 wicks. There are some decent ones in the collection. I will try to review a few more. I just kind of put this to the forefront because I know I've seen some people kind of disappointed that this doesn't smell like cookies to them, and I just wanted to get this review out there for you guys. So hopefully that helps, and hopefully I will have some more reviews for you guys very soon. And let me know if there's others in the collection that you are dying to see that I have purchased. I left out kind of the fall ones, like the leaf ones and things like that, the apple ones, but I did buy pretty much all of the holiday ones. So if there's something else you're dying to see, let me know in the comment section, and I will try to kind of, expedite that, if you will. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to my channel for future content. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.